All right. So I'm excited to chat with you today. Just doing a little check-in, seeing how you're doing with all the special education stuff that is happening, that's going on. It's been quite a whirlwind as we approach the holidays. And it seems like this ridiculousness is just continuing in special education. And here's what I mean by that. There has always been a lot of false information that comes into our special education community. False information for teachers, false information for parents. It causes a lot of conflict. It makes special education difficult. It's just ridiculousness. Then whatever happened in March happened, right? And things became even more out of control. What's interesting now is that there was a lot of bad advice that was being given before all of this happened. There's a lot of bad advice that's happening during, and I'm just frustrated that it's continuing here as we're wrapping up the year, and I'm seeing advice that I need you not to follow. All right. I need you not to follow. I'll make sure that you have some information that I promise you, no matter what state you're in, you can go get some help over at iepchecklist.com. There's a free download for you. Just go snag it. It's going to give you 12 things that you need to ask questions about in the IEP process, because it's not the same for everyone. You cannot read a book or a blog and just say, okay, 100% of this works exactly this way for my family, or if you're a teacher, for my students. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and it's knowing the right questions. It's knowing when to ask them, how to ask them. So this IEP checklist is not a standard, like what's in the IEP checklist. Okay. There are critical questions that you need to ask. So for example, let me give you an easy one that is going around town as a rumor that has been going around for, I don't know, like I've been in the field 25 years and I've heard this, and it's don't sign the IEP because you're going to cheat your child out of services if you don't agree with it, or they can't do anything until you sign it, or you should always wait like 3 days until you sign it. You should only sign part of the IEP. There's this whole like signing the IEP debacle. Okay. And with all of the like modifications that are happening to IEPs for virtual learning, or for different placements that are being chosen, or different accommodations and modifications that are being done, all of those things, okay, all those things are happening. This whole hot topic of do you sign the IEP or don't you has come about again. Let me just make this very clear. Your state may not require you to sign an IEP to implement changes. What I am not saying is that a team can make a bunch of changes without your knowledge. Notice I didn't say without your permission. I said without your knowledge. In every state, you have to be aware of what is happening. That's your right. Okay? Not every state requires permission even to make significant changes. So, for example, I grew up in Illinois. My first set of teaching certificates was in Illinois. And to this day, I have clients that are in Illinois, and you don't sign the IEP in Illinois. You don't do it. At the end of the meeting, they give you a piece of paper, and it has check this box, which means that you waive your 10 days, and we're going to start this IEP right now, or check this other box and say that you don't waive your 10 days. You're going to take the full 10 days, and then we're going to implement it anyway. So that basically gives you a 10-day grace period to figure out how to negotiate anything that you don't agree with. Okay? Now, not all states are like that. Anybody who just like tuned in and was like, wait, what's this piece of paper? If you're not in Illinois, you might not have a piece of paper like that. Any advocate, lawyer, teacher, admin, or fellow parent, anybody who sits at an IEP table, who is not sitting at an IEP table in your state, cannot guarantee, unless they've done the research for your specific state, cannot tell you what that process is because it may not be the same as theirs. Hear that, you guys. Just hear it, soak it in. Just know that all the stuff that you're seeing in all the Facebook groups and all the things, okay, that is not a standard process of signing or not signing the IEP. You got to figure that one out for your own self in your state. Okay. So that's one of the ridiculousness things that's just exploding. Here's the second one that is just, it doesn't make any sense. You ready? There is a section in your child's IEP, no matter what state you're in. I'm going to clarify that for you. Somewhere on your IEP in your state that says, does the child need assistive technology? Assistive technology does not mean just a device to help a child talk. That is not the scope of assistive technology. Assistive technology existed in IDEA law, which is the law that's governing your child or your student's education, teacher or parent. Remember, I'm not a lawyer, just telling you where to look, okay? So in IDEA law, it says that there's assistive technology listed. Before iPads or Dynavoxes or ProLoco 2 or all the different apps that are out there and all the different, it existed. Because back in the day when I taught, I'm going to give you a pause here so you don't spit out your coffee when I say this, okay? You ready? Technology was Velcro. And I'm not kidding you. High tech and low tech. It can be Velcro, it can be slant boards, technology, high tech or low tech. So our high tech back in the day was when we had this touch screen and we had the computer in the classroom. And the touch screen literally got Velcroed onto the screen of the computer. Do you guys remember these? And we had these things called living books. I can remember as a teacher, I loved living books, okay? And the kids could touch different things on the screen. And that was assistive technology. There's all assistive technology is, if you have ever seen, they're called Big Mac buttons, like the food Big Mac, okay, Mac buttons, all right? We had big red Mac buttons that when a child hits it, it activates. It's a switch. It activates something that it's plugged into. So it could be a toy. It could be a reading device. It could be a lot of different things. That's assistive technology. You cannot tell me in the world that we're living in today, hello 2020 and everything gone digital, that any child does not need assistive technology. How could a child not need assistive technology? Go look up the definition of assistive technology in special education. Go look it up. It'll give you high tech and low tech. And your low tech stuff is literally the stuff that's been around for 30 years because I used it in my own classroom. It's not about technology like you're thinking. It's not, does your child need assistive technology like a speech device or, an iPad or, no, there's a wide range. So if your child has an IEP, which most likely they do, if you're hanging out here with me right now, okay, go look at that section in the IEP and see if assistive technology is checkmarked or not. Okay? And if it is not checkmarked and your child would benefit from assistive technology, or you think they might, or you're not even sure, so you're going to go do some Googling and you're going to figure out assistive technology, high tech and low tech, and if that would apply to your child, and you might have an aha moment. That happens, that you're like, why didn't anybody tell me that I could get access to this stuff? Because you have to know what to ask. That goes back to this IEP checklist. I promise you assistive technology is on there, okay? So to start that conversation. So this IEP checklist, remember, for those of you that just joined, you're going to go to iepchecklist.com. This is not an IEP checklist of what's in the IEP. No, you're beyond that. You got that. This is your IEP checklist of what are all the questions that I need to ask so the team doesn't forget about things like assistive technology, or that they actually acknowledge what my child's needs are, high tech and low tech, or you can go get an assistive technology evaluation started. And yes, you can do those virtually. So those are two things. Those are two things that are really just mind-blowing right now. Of why are we still telling people, like, don't sign the IEP in your state, maybe, but watch where you're saying that, okay? Because we're broadcasting everywhere, which means you're probably hearing this, and like I said, in your Facebook groups, in your Instagram DMs, or whatever you're following. That is something that I'm so passionate about, to make sure that you have correct information. You cannot make a good decision if you have wrong information. Can we agree on that? You cannot make good decisions if you have wrong information. I am not going to tell you that I know every one of the rules for signing the IEP in all states. What I am going to tell you is that it's different in all states. And I will help you absolutely get to the answer for you and your situation in your state. That's absolutely possible. So here, let me show you how I can do that. So first, go grab your IEP checklist. But if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea high tech and low tech assistive technology. I had no idea about the signing the IEP, and you're sick and tired of the information being wrong that's given to you, whether it's from people in your state or out of your state. You want to step back and you're like, you know what? I just need to rethink this a bit. Like, am I really on the right path? Am I really making the best decisions? Do I really have the best information to make these decisions? That's where you head over to the Special Ed Inner Circle. So in the Special Ed Inner Circle, these things that I'm talking about with you right now out here, okay? I will sit on a Zoom call with you and the other special education insiders, and we go over stuff like this, and I answer your direct questions every month. And when you come into the Inner Circle, I'm going to set you up with a one-on-one call with a master IEP coach just to get that top concern of yours moving forward, just to get unstuck. And on top of that, I'm going to make sure that you have access to a full online library. So when I say things like, oh gosh, I'm going to go there for this third one, okay? Anybody who has ever been hanging out here with me, you know when I start talking about this. Okay. Saw a group of teachers talking online. Okay. Kind of stalkerish sometimes because I like to see what the teachers are talking about. Okay. So I'm scoping out on Facebook and Instagram what teachers are talking about. And a teacher says, what's a good money goal to get started? First of all, putting that question out to a bunch of random people into a Facebook group, even though they're fellow teachers, you're not going to get good information because they don't know your students. Number two, why didn't you go ask the parents? What kind of money skills do you wish that your child had or that you foresee your child using? Parents are really freaking smart. They might not know how to teach the exact money skills, but you know what mom's going to say? Mom's going to say, I don't know exactly where to start, but I do know my child needs to be able to buy things from the dollar spot at Target. Or I don't know exactly how to teach money skills, but I do know that my child loves to order things on Amazon, and that costs money. So how do we teach money when it comes to Amazon? All right. Parents will give you a really good starting point for how to teach money. But you want to know, can you guess where the first responses went to this teacher? Can you guess with which skill? Coins. For real. You're going to sit virtually, okay, or even in person, and you're going to count penny, nickels, and dimes and quarters. Why? Number one, most people are not even taking cash right now out there. Number two, when's the last time you paid with change? And aren't you annoyed when people pay with change? And if you use change, I'm sorry, but I'm still not standing behind you. If you're picking through your coin purse to get out your exact change, that is just as bad as you starting to write out a check. No, that is not how we use money. Do we need to know the value of money? Absolutely. Do we need to know the value of a penny to budget, to have a life skill? No. Do we need to know grade? Okay. And when I say no, okay, let me clarify. Some of you guys are going to be like, okay. I am not saying that a child should not ever learn coins. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that there is a precious amount of time that a teacher has with a student in special education, and it is limited, and we have to use it wisely. And learning to count penny, nickels, dimes, and quarters is not using that time wisely. Now, if we were in, pre-March time and the child was working on their math bowls and their IEP, and then the teacher happens to be teaching penny, nickels, dimes, and quarters to like the whole group throughout the school day, we're not saying the child can't learn it. We're saying in the time where the IEP goals are being addressed and data is being taken, that is not an important skill. 100% money is important. 100% a child should recognize that coins are money. In general, they're money. They have a currency. Sitting around and labeling penny, nickels, dimes, and quarters is not the best use of a teacher's time or a student's time. Very, very, very rarely are you ever going to convince me different unless it's possibly a situation where they're training for something specific in independent living or in job training that is way further down the road, and they've already mastered the other stuff. By other stuff, I mean, do you know greater than or less than? Because you got to know if you have enough money in the bank to buy something. Do you know how to round up? Because you need to look at the price tag and see, do you have enough money in your wallet? Do you know how to multiply and say, okay, well, this and divide, multiply and divide? Because if you're planning a party and you're going to have 10 people there and the silverware comes in a package of 20, but the plates only come in a package of 5 and the napkins come, do you know how much to buy? Because that's part of math and money skills. And then, okay, so you have to buy 4 packs of plates, and how much do they cost? And then do you have enough money for that? Those are the real skills, guys. That's how you and I go to the store. We go to the grocery store and we're like, okay, we go to Target back in the day. Okay. Even right now online, let's just talk online shopping. I'm going to jump on Amazon and I'm going to buy, what are you going to buy today? What are you going to buy? Pick something, right? I'll tell you. I had to jump on Amazon and buy travel shampoo and conditioner bottles yesterday. Real life story. Sitting there with my daughter. We need to get travel size for shampoo and conditioner. So I jumped on Amazon. Now, I can't even remember. Ooh, who has this Amazon brain where you can't remember? I do remember I ended up putting something else in that cart. So I went, oh yeah, we need that too. And I put something else in the cart. So then I have to estimate, do I have enough money for this? Do I have greater than, less than? Do I have that skill? So you have to have different money skills before you have penny, nickel, dimes, and quarters in the real world. Okay? So this ridiculousness of you have to start with pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, no. I can teach you exactly how to flip that and how to get this point across at the IEP table, because it can be difficult at sometimes when you join the special ed inner circle. So I hope to see you guys inside of the special ed inner circle. And just remember, when you're scrolling through Facebook and you're scrolling through Instagram and you're hopping into those online support groups and you hear all the parents and teachers talking about all the things, just remember that probably 90% of what's being said does not apply directly to you, your situation, or your state. That you have to ask questions, that you have to know what you're asking, why you're asking, and what information you're trying to get so you can make a good decision. Because we have had enough bad decisions made for us in special education already. So I hope you come join me inside of this special ed inner circle. I'll see you guys over there. We're going to have our next meeting, of course, I almost said July. we're going to go to January. January, we'll have our next Q&A. And yes, they're recorded. And yes, you can fully participate even if you can't show up live. Because you know what? I know your life. I know how busy you are. For those of you that are new here, welcome. I have been in the field for 25 years professionally, but I'm also a special needs sibling. So former special education teacher, current special needs sibling and founder of the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. I know the crazy that is going on, the chaos that's going on in your homes. I know life is busy. I promise you the Special Education Inner Circle is not another thing on your plate. It is relief to finally get what you've been looking for so you can build IEPs that work. I am going to answer a couple of questions here. Lisa says, how do you go about getting an IEP at preschool age before the child goes to kindergarten? You have to contact your school district, and their special ed administrator will know what you need to do to request an evaluation through the school system. And when you do that, when you look it up or when you're ready to start the process even, Lisa, I'd love for you to come over to the specialedinnercircle.com. We can help you through that process and give you a letter template and some coaching through what to say and how to get that process going. Let's see. Aylin says, thanks for explaining. I was wondering that question. Yes, my son is checked. So yes, assistive technology, you have to have that in there. And of course, MC, you're very, very welcome. All right, guys. Well, don't forget, go grab the questions so you can ask the right stuff to get the right answers that you need for your child, so you're not following poorly given advice that's floating around in special education. So you can have all the information to make your own decisions to know what is right and what is not the best choice for your family. If you're a teacher, you're welcome to take this too. Absolutely. We are on the same team, 1,000,000%. So ask the right questions, get the right information so you can make awesome decisions. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.